of a lifetime together. And I would say our bonding moment was drinking the grass wheat shots at 6 a.m. in the Denver airport, right? That was like our solidifying moment for sure.
I literally like dry heaved 7 times in front of you.
Yeah, it was pretty great. Not that I really loved that. Thank you so much for having me tonight, Emily, and I am grateful to be here with you all. I've thought a lot about what I would say. I wanted to start with a little bit of my story. I don't know how many of you know my health testimonial, but whenever I talk to other diamonds, I always know their business testimonial, but I don't always know their health testimonial. And so for me, the only reason why I have a business testimonial is because I have a testimonial of the products. So I want to start there tonight. I started Plexus 2.5 years ago when my children were 7, 5, 3, and 4 months old. And I was just really, really tired. I was waking up in the morning tired after sleeping all night long. Most nights I would wake up 5 or 6 times in the night. It always took me an hour or two to fall asleep. I was a sugaraholic. If you followed me on Instagram or we were friends on Facebook before Plexus, you knew me to be the sweet tooth fairy. I loved to create things that I could make for my family, and I love to take pictures of the food and blog about it. And it was just my passion to cook and to cook for others. And I took so much joy in doing that. And that was how I had branded myself, for no reason at all. I had branded myself as the girl that made homemade pizza every single Friday night and always made treats. And they were the most amazing treats. I was like a walking Pinterest board. If someone had a recipe on Pinterest, I was going to be the one that would make it and teach you all the shortcuts about it and how to make it so you didn't have to go to the store. Because who wants to go to the store with 4 kids under 7? Nobody wants to go to the store with 4 kids under 7. So when I was looking into Plexus, it was because I was just exhausted. I didn't want to get rid of my sugar cravings. I almost didn't do Plexus because I heard that could happen. And I was totally addicted to sugar. And I remember telling my sponsor, Brooke Hemingway, well, I don't know if I want my sugar cravings to go away. Like, I legitimately remember standing at my fridge thinking, I don't necessarily want that to happen to me. If that could happen, I don't know if I want to do this. But I was pushed into a corner when my baby was 4 months old because my racing heart and my ball of nerves that had become normal at that point in my life were so bad that I felt like I couldn't breathe when I woke up in the morning. And I didn't want to answer the door and I didn't want to answer the phone. And for someone who is highly, highly extroverted, that was like so out of character for me. And I remember telling people, maybe I'm just an introvert in my 30s. Like, maybe this is what my 30s are about. Maybe just being an introvert is where I'm going to end up. And so when I saw Brooke posting about Plexus videos, this was before Facebook Live, mind you. So she was doing videos on her phone and loading them onto Facebook. The most introverted person that I knew. So introverted, in fact, that you thought she hated you when you met her. Specifically, I legitimately was like, this girl hates me. There's no way, like, she won't even talk to me. She won't smile at me. Like, she hates me. And she is now my best friend. And the reason why is because when she started posting about Plexus, I thought, what is Brooke Hemingway talking about? And then I called my mom and said, did you see what Brooke Hemingway is talking about? And she goes, yeah. And now I kind of want to do it. So my mom and I split a double welcome pack and we started the products together. And about a week, well, it took 3 weeks to get my products. And because the back office had just switched over, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that tonight. Hold on one second.
I love that we get to work our businesses with our kids.
Yeah, it's so great, isn't it? Okay, so it's precious. So precious. Okay, so took 3 weeks to get my products because the back office had just switched over. A week in, I called Brooke and told her I was quitting because I didn't feel anything. And I just thought, why would I waste my time doing something that's not going to work? I was self-sabotaging myself for sure. I did that a lot back then. I probably still do that sometimes now, but not nearly as badly as I used to.
Dad just got
Oh, hallelujah. Dad is home. Okay, go downstairs, please. So then she talked me off the ledge. I stayed on the products, and by the second week, I woke up feeling like I had slept for the first time in decades. My sugar cravings were gone. I started noticing that my bloating was going away. My racing heart was gone. I didn't need naps. I wasn't craving sugar, all the things, right? That and then I thought, oh my gosh, I fell asleep in 5 minutes last night. That's weird. Haven't done that in my whole entire life. And I slept all night long. That's crazy. I woke up rested. That's odd. And then I started just sharing all those things on Facebook and Instagram. And I had a very, very warm market because I was a blogger for 10 years. And I was not a blogger with a large audience. I was a blogger, and only my immediate friends and family read my blog. I was very vulnerable and honest and open about everything that happened in my life. And so I had a strong bond and connection with these people. I still have people to this day who tell me they remember my blog posts. And when I will do posts on social media now, sometimes I'll link back to those blog posts, and my readers, my friends and family go on and say, oh, I remember when that happened, because I told the story. So are you doing that in your Plexus business? Are you telling your story? And I'm not just talking about the products. Are you telling your day-to-day life story? Because if you aren't, then you're most likely not connecting with the people watching you. Everybody loves a story. That's why my 2-year-old comes and sits on my lap all day long to read a story, because it's relaxing. It releases oxytocin in your brain as you connect emotionally with the story. This is the most powerful tool that we have as social media marketers. More than network marketers had 15 years ago, before social media was a thing. We have this little gift, and everybody can get better at it and learn how to do it. So if you are someone that thinks, I'm not a storyteller, I can't do that, what I want to tell you to do is go follow storytellers on social media and watch what they do. That is my number one passion. That is still will always be the way that I speak about everything, is through storytelling. On my Instagram account, you can follow how I do it through the stories. I'll put my handle here in the chat. It's EMI82. Yes, other great storytellers. I love Jennifer Leith. I love Bridget Ryan, Christy Hull. All of those are so, so good. Brooke Hemingway, Tara Berger, all really, really great examples of storytellers and people to follow. As you follow these people, you will start to emulate them. There is research that actually shows the 5 people that you spend the most time with are who you are like. So that's the second thing I want to tell you to do. Number 1, are you telling stories? Number 2, who are you spending your time with? Who are the 5 people that you spend the most amount of time with? When I look at my inner circle, that's what we would call our inner circle. When I look at my inner circle, it is very, very tight. There are about 3 people that I tell everything to. That's it. My husband, Brooke Hemingway, and probably my coach, Michelle Minnick. They are my tightest circle. And I don't share personal, private things with anyone outside of that circle. Why is that important? Because as a leader, you have to protect your well-being. You have to protect your thoughts. You have to protect what's coming in. You have to protect what's going out. And there's a level of integrity that keeps a very tight circle. If you are someone that finds yourself saying, let's say you get upset about something that happens in your business or your personal life, and you find yourself needing to tell 7 people you're telling the story 7 different times to 7 different people. You just want to tell everybody that you see, that you walk up to. Oh my gosh, you're never going to believe this story about this person and this person and this person, or whatever it is. If you're finding yourself doing that, what I would tell you is to take a self-assessment. Take some time to look at yourself and say, is that serving me? Because when you are spending so much time and energy and emotional exhaustion on those things, you don't have anything left over for yourself. You don't have anything left over for the people in your life. And you will find that as a leader, that depletes you faster than anything else. So one thing that I learned very early on was that I was only going to have 1 or 2 people that I was going to share my successes and my struggles with. And that to me has been one of the best things that I've ever done for my business. Because, and in some ways it's isolating, because I don't have a lot of close relationships with Plexus people, right? Because I haven't gotten super, super close with Sideline Sisters or done any of those things, because I've just kept it so, so tight with 2 people. But the beautiful thing about that is that for me, it doesn't screw with my head as much. And maybe your personality is not like mine, but with my personality, when I'm telling everybody everything, it screws with my head and it takes me off focus. And that leads me to my next point. Are your blinders on? When I started this business 2.5 years ago, I didn't even know to look side to side, you guys. Like, I had no Plexus friends. I'd never heard of Plexus before. And all I talked to was Brooke and my husband. And so if you have created and developed many amazing relationships in Plexus, and you are finding yourself comparing your journey to someone else's, even though I wasn't looking side to side, guess where I was looking? I don't know if you're going to guess this. Emily, can you guess where I was looking and where I was comparing myself to?
Were you looking ahead to like the?
I was looking at Brooke. I was looking at Brooke, and it took me a really long time to see that I was constantly comparing myself to her success and her journey. And not in a bad way. It pushed me really, really hard, right? And so what I would say is, all the time we hear people say, stop looking side to side. What I would say is, just look straight forward. Don't look up, don't look down, don't look side to side, just look straight forward, because there's no one running your path. So when you are sitting here tonight, and maybe you've hit a point in your business where you feel stuck, where you feel unmotivated, where you feel like you're not really sure how to move forward. John Maxwell talks about this. That is hitting your leadership lid. And I always know when I've hit that, and I've hit it many, many times in this journey. In the beginning, it was something that I remember feeling so significantly at Emerald. I didn't know what to do with myself, because I felt very lost as a leader. I didn't know how to lead a team. This was accidental. Raise your hand if you are in this business accidentally. You did not mean to do this. This wasn't your goal to do this. So most people that I talk to in Plexus find themselves with a job that they didn't really plan on having. And what I have found is that those are sometimes the people who grow the most in this business, because to be successful, you have to raise that leadership lid. So ways that you can raise your leadership lid that have significantly helped me along the way. Number 1, reading the book, What to Say When You Talk to Yourself. Because if you are stuck in your business, most likely what's happening to you is you're saying a lot of really negative things to yourself all day long. I don't do enough. I'm not messaging enough. I'm not where I should be. I've been here for too long. I'm never going to get to where I need to be. All of those things are very negative thoughts. Stop it. right? You guys, 6 months ago in July, well, is that July? How long ago was that? July, August, September, October, November, December, January, February. 7 months ago in July, I was 150 points from reentry. I knew for sure I was going to fall into that in August. I had no doubt. I was like, bam, never fell back in points in my whole entire career at that point in Plexus. And I was like, man, that was easy. Hit diamond in April and now going to be at reentry at August. That was the easiest rank up I've ever had, right? And then August happened and I fell back by 200 points, even though we were adding. And then the next month happened and I fell back another 150 points. And then the next month happened, I fell back another 150 points. And I started to get my confidence shook up really, really badly. And if you are someone who's ever gone backwards in points or you've added and you can't move forward, you know what that feels like and it screws with your head, right? And so you feel tempted to talk to people around you. Oh, hey girl, how are your points? Where are you at? What's going on with you? How many did you add last month? How's your business going? Except the thing is that usually the people you end up talking to are not the people who are going to help you move forward. You're like purposely picking to talk to people who you know are failing also. And so then you just sit and you're like, oh, it's so bad right now. Gosh, I mean, it's just so bad right now. Right? Like, it's so bad. I mean, what are we even going to do? That will get you nowhere.
Girl, you're preaching to the choir.
That is not going to get you forward. There is one thing that will change the course of your business and one thing only. Are you ready to hear it? This is profound, and I'm sure you've never heard of it before. Activity. I know. It's so cosmopolitan and new age. You've never heard of it before. So it sounds so simple. And yet when you're in a negative place, if your points are going backwards, if they're not going forwards, if you feel stuck, activity is probably the thing that you beat yourself up all day long for not doing, when all you need to do is sit down and do it for 15 minutes and then not think about it the rest of the day. It's sort of like exercise for your business. So when I was in college a few years ago, just a few, I was an avid exerciser. 5 to 6 days a week. It was a religious habit for me. And when I missed a day, I would sit and beat myself up about it all day long. I would spend hours in my head beating myself up for not getting to the gym and not exercising. I spent more time worrying about not doing it than I could have just gone to the gym for 30 minutes and been done and had it off my conscience. Your income producing activity is the exact same thing. And you don't even have to go to the gym to do it. You can do it sitting on your couch without lifting more than your 2 thumbs, right? So some of the tips and tricks that I would like to teach you tonight about getting into activity, because again, that's the only thing that's going to move you forward. It's the only thing that moved me forward. It's the thing that pulled me out of my funk this last fall and got me moving forward again. And I just hit re-entry last month, like by a landslide. My points went up by 1,000 last month, you guys. And I'm not telling you that to brag. What I'm telling you that for is I have been in activity every single day, constantly recruiting 3 new people every single month. I do not let a month end without personally sponsoring 3 people. In 2.5 years, I have never missed a month of personally sponsoring level 1 ambassadors. I did have a month of 2 one time. But the rest, they've all been three or more a month. And when you do that, I think so many times we think it's not that big a deal. Like, if I just get 1 or 2 this month, or I just get 1, or I just skip this month, we think, what's it really going to do? It's really going to do a whole lot. A perfect example of that is my husband. When I was building to Emerald, I was building him to Ruby with me because I didn't understand that I shouldn't do that. And then I got to Emerald and realized it was a lot harder to get to Emerald because my points were compressing and I was having all these trouble. But that's like for a whole other team call that we don't have time for tonight. And the reason why I'm saying this example to you, and then I'm going to show you tips for activity, is because I want you to see how much of a difference activity makes. So I built him. I was building under me. I was building under him. I was putting, 5 and 6 people under myself and 5 and 6 people under him every single month, all the way till I hit Emerald and he hit Ruby at 6 months into my journey with Plexus. And then I realized, oh my gosh, I need to stop doing that and just put everybody on my level 1. So I started just building myself. And for an entire year, I put no one under my husband. And guess what happened to his points? I was putting 3 people under me every single month. My husband not only did he not hold his Ruby rank for about 6 months, he sat at like 450 points. He went between 450 to 490 points back and forth for about 6 months. And then he just sat at 500 points, just sat there, never grew, even though his team was adding 30 to 50 people a month. He wasn't growing because he wasn't personally sponsoring new blood into his business. So he says that's a lie, but he's just joking. Nobody was putting 3 new level 1s under him every single month. Now, once I hit Diamond, I decided I wanted to get my husband to Diamond. And Emerald has to come first. And he was just sitting at Ruby. So what I did is every single month from last May until July, May, June, July, we're talking 3 months here, you guys. I put 3 people under him, May, June, July. He ranked Senior Ruby in July. The reason why he did that is because I put new people under him. It brought new blood in. I got 2 of those people to gold, and the other legs grew by another 50 points. So we had a 250 point jump. For a year, he didn't grow because why? Because I did not put anyone under him. I'm constantly looking for my position, for Sean's position, I'm constantly looking for a new person to bring in to get to gold. For me, that is the money maker. That's the life, that's the breath of my business. Who can I bring in and get to gold? Because that's 100 points on my team, right? And you can help people do it very simply. You enroll 1, they enroll 3. Then you teach them to get 3, 3, 3. It just adds up. The power of 3 will always, always, always add up, right? Hold on one second. I'm going to go downstairs because there's somebody at my door. I will never, ever do a team call in my front living room ever again. I am so sorry. Okay, so when you are in activity, you will always grow. Always. So how do you get into activity? Because it sounds so scary and intimidating if you are not in it. Just like if you're not in shape and you think, oh my gosh, I better start working out. You're like, oh, it's too hard. I can't start working out because you know it's going to be painful. You know your muscles are going to be sore. You know you're going to be huffing and puffing. You know it's going to be hard. And that's why when you're not in activity, it's harder to get in activity. But here's the great, 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 great news. Once you are in shape, it's not that hard. So what I always do first off is at the beginning of every single month, I make a new list of 20. I call it my Hot 20 list. A new list of 20 people that I am either relationship building with intentionally, Or I am actively pursuing about the business or the products. When I say actively pursuing about the business, I intentionally reach out to people who I consider to be A-list people. They're already successful in society. They own their own business. They're a successful realtor. They are winning at life, and they probably don't need the money. I reach out to those people about the business before the products. And I do it with a particular verbiage that I learned from Bob Heilig. If anyone is in that Legacy Leadership Academy or if they've heard about it, he has a Facebook Live where he talks about how to reach out to A-listers. It works. Use the verbiage. I'll share it with Emily so she can share it with all of you. So you have your Hot 20 list. When you sit down to do your Plexus work, what does that look like? Well, it means you get your Hot 20 list out and you go to their Facebook page and you like and comment on all their posts over the last 3 or 4 days. Your relationship building with them. If you see something that makes you think, oh gosh, this girl needs Plexus, maybe you send her a private message and you say, hey girl, maybe this isn't for you, but I saw your post today about how tired you are. And gosh, like I just saw a video the other day that talked about how something that I use could help you. If I sent it, would you watch it? And then I would typically send either the Cindy Latham Slim video that's on YouTube, or there is just the little short triplex video in our back office shareable. I like that one because it's only 2 minutes and 38 seconds or something like that. So then you're just planting seeds here and there. I like 3 is my favorite number in Plexus. So I always like to try to message 3 people a day, either relationship building or cold message reach out, like the example that I just gave you. When you are in a messaging, when you are in shape in your messaging, this will become so second nature, and it should always be the first thing that you should do. These are the rocks that you're putting in. You put the rocks in first. So when I wake up in the morning, I do not scroll Instagram or Facebook. I do not. That's not my habit anymore. It was my habit for a really, really long time. And it's not my habit anymore. When I wake up, and my habit is not to wake up and answer messages from my team. The night before I go to bed, I pull out my planner and I write down my list of people I'm going to message the next day. I intentionally decide the night before who I'm going to reach out to, so that in the morning when I wake up and I'm drinking my pink drink, I am able to be focused and centered and intentional. I take the thinking out of it. Every single night before I go to bed, I do this. I spend 10 to 15 minutes. My husband's in bed asleep. My kids are all asleep. And I have this 10 to 15 minutes of quiet time. And I think, who am I going to talk to tomorrow? Either relationship building or intentional prospecting. Because some people aren't ready for you to reach out about Plexus. So you need to be reaching out about a relationship. To make it organic, go to their Facebook page, go to their Instagram page, like and comment on a few of their things so you have something to talk with them about. Instagram stories are my favorite way to connect with people, and they're my favorite way to get to know strangers. Instagram is like a big, giant playground outside of your neighborhood where you get to meet new friends. And when you follow people who you find interesting and you look at their Instagram stories and you comment on them, they will follow you back eventually. When you like and comment on people's things, especially their Instagram stories, they will want to know who you are and they will want to get to know you. And so make sure that this is a part of your daily actions. So I sit down in the morning, I message my 3 people that I've decided I'm going to message the night before. Then I make a social media post for myself. either for personal or for Plexus. I have my team page post. I don't know if anyone has a team page here except for Emily, or I don't know what everyone's ranks are, but if you have your own team page, I do all of my team page posts through the Buffer app. And I decide all of my posts for the entire week on Sunday night. It takes me about 20 minutes. I do testimonials twice a day, and then I fill in on days where I need to. I'll do like a team call post or a business post or something like that. But I always have 2 testimonials a day, 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. post every single day. Like my team knows what time it is because the Buffer app automatically posts the post. And they're like, it's 8 a.m. in Utah. So that takes the thinking out of it for me. So I sit down, I do my own 3 messages. I do my personal post on Facebook and on Instagram. My team page is posting for me, making my load lighter, working smarter, not harder. Then I go and I look to see if there are any 3-way messages that people on my team have started. And if you're like, there's nobody working, Emily, I got nobody, then all the more reason for you to maybe do more than 3 messages in the morning. One of my Ruby ambassadors told me a secret at our Ruby retreat last week. She said, Emily, I don't message people and I want my business to grow. And so she sat down and sent 50 messages, not all at once because that was too overwhelming to her. So she did 10 one day, 12 the next day, another 10 the next day, and she just did them all in like a 4-day period. I got a message from her yesterday saying she has never had so much business, never had so many messages talking with people about Plexus as she has in the last week. 50 messages, and they were not copy paste. They were thought out. Hey, thought of you. Maybe this isn't for you, but I was thinking about how Plexus could help you with X, Y, and Z. Have you heard of it before? Messages like that she sent out, 50 of them. She personally sponsored someone today. Had she not sent those bulk of messages out, that person would not be on her team. Who is not currently on your team because you have not reached out yet? I was so scared to reach out to this one nurse because the medical people, they intimidate me. I don't know about you, but they intimidate me. And I was so nervous to send out this message to this nurse who's now a senior gold ambassador on my team. And so I thought, well, I'll just message her about the edge because I knew she worked night shift. And I was like, oh, hey, girl, we have this product that like helps you stay up all night on your night shift. Lots of nurses love it. I would assume. At the time, I didn't know any, but I was like, I'm sure that they do. I hear nurses love this. And she was like, oh, actually, I've been watching you, and I think I want to order everything. Right? Like, dream come true. The reason why I share that story with you is if I had not prompted her to do that, she probably wouldn't have been on my team as quickly, or maybe she would join somebody else. There are several of my friends who are selling different things for different MLMs, and if they would reach out to me and follow up with me, I'd probably be buying their product. I know that I would. And I've thought so many times, I've been on the fence about ordering this one thing from this one girl from high school, and she never followed up with me. She did a couple of times, and then she did once like 3 months later, and now it's been 6 months, and I really was like thinking about buying it, but she never messaged, and I felt weird messaging her about it because I didn't want to like bother her. It sounds so silly, right? As a network marketer myself, it sounds so silly. Most people are just shy and they want you to make the first move. They really, really do. So I want you to speak positive affirmations on yourself. This is why you need to read the book, What to Say When You Talk to Yourself. If you feel like you are struggling in your social skills, read How to Win Friends and Influence People. If you are telling your story on social media, if you are messaging 3 people a day and you're like, I just can't sign anyone. I don't know what's wrong with me. Read How to Win Friends and Influence People. Watch videos about how to close, how to seal the deal. I knew nothing. I had none of these skills that I have now when I started this business. They are learnable. They're teachable. So make yourself a student of network marketing. Get yourself into the habit of activity. Put your business first. Because you putting your business first, I promise you, you will eventually have three-way messages with your team. And if you don't have them now, that's fine. Because right now we're just conditioning the muscles. We've got to get the lungs going, and we've got to strengthen the muscles, and the muscles are going to be achy and they're going to hurt, and you might need some ice at the end of the day or a heat pack. It's okay. Go get you a heat blanket. I just want you to know that when you pour activity into your business, you will see growth. I know that without a shadow of a doubt. And when you do that and you have that growth in your business, you will trust and believe in yourself a little bit more, and that will make you better. Because if you're someone who, like with myself, when I told you about how I was falling back in points in the August, September, October, I started to not trust myself. I started to doubt my abilities. I thought, man, I'll probably never get to reentry. And had I stayed in that mindset and that thinking, I wouldn't be where I am right now. And so believe in yourself. Believe in this company. There's nobody better. I've seen them all. There's nobody better than our compensation plan. There's nobody better than our culture. Emily Roberts is one of the most fun people I have ever been with in Plexus. Nobody is more fun to go through an airport with at 6:30 in the morning. And my team idolizes her training videos. Idolizes. You have such an incredible leader here. Maybe her personality is different than yours. Maybe her red is offensive to your yellow. I get it. Because even though I have red and I have blue, sometimes when I'm around like 100% red, I get scared. I'm like, and I'm super intimidated and I shut down. Does anyone else do that ever? If you find that happening to you with certain personalities, give yourself a little grace, give them a little grace, and then pour into your own personal development, because that's an issue with you, not them. Right? And speak positive on yourself. And if someone is offending you, I always tell my team, like, just come tell me so we can move past it. Right? So if you have an issue, Emily's super direct, just message her and she'll probably be like, all right, girl, tell me. But that's hard for yellows, right? So, it would really help her. You'd actually be helping her be a better leader when that happens.
It's the only time in my red personality that I need direction is if something makes you uncomfortable about what I said, about what I train. Like, that's where yes, you nailed it. Quick question.
Yes.
Most of the people on this call that I'm looking at are gold to senior gold. A few have hit Ruby and are either maintaining or starting to do the whole backwards thing. So I think the number one question I get all the time is usually about like the onboarding process. Do you determine whether or not they're wholesale or a business builder? Do you lead with products like to get them consistent? Like, what is your number one tip there?
So first of all, I built my business. I've always built my business in complete chaos and back office ridiculousness, right? Like I don't know a happy, nice time. I don't know that. I've just grown up in chaos in Plexus. So to me, I don't even know what that would be like to just have calmness. So what I have always done, and I'm building my business in a place that's known as the MLM capital of the United States, where everybody hates MLMs because their mom did one when they were growing up. They've been screwed by one. They lost tens of thousands of dollars in one that they did with their ex-husband 5 years ago. Like, I have had to build my business very creatively here in the state of Utah. And the way that I have done that is I have always typically led with the products. and helping your friends. So when they sign up, I always tell them that I know there are people suffering in their life right now because I was that person before Plexus. And I invite them to share a 2-liner on Facebook that says something like, hey guys, I'm trying this new supplement called Plexus that helped my friend Emily have better sleep, more energy, and get rid of her sugar cravings. Does anyone want to do it with me? And then if somebody sees that and they say, what is it? Tell me more. I'm interested. You can be like, I don't know. I just ordered this for my friend Emily, and like, I don't really know that much, but I would love for you to hear her story. And then she can answer your questions. Maybe it's not for you. We all know it is, but you say, maybe it's not for you, but I would love to learn along with you. Would it be okay if I start a message with you and my friend Emily, not my upline, not my sponsor, my friend Emily, and she can help us to see if this is even something that would work for you.
I just shared that video with them. I think you have it on YouTube. And Hannah is like, she's like this close to Ruby, like all the time.
Oh, awesome.
And she used that for a couple of wholesalers that like just needed the nudge. And now that they're doing it, like now they're all sharing. And she's like, it worked. I'm like, it's awesome. But she's a rock star. I mean, everybody on here, they do the thing. Like I don't see anybody that's not doing the thing. I love that you gave us your idea of your hot list of 20, because we hear the list of 64 and we hear all these things, but that's tangible. I think that's realistic and it's not as overwhelming, especially for like 80% of the people on here are yellow. So I think that's good. I love that advice.
And when you sign them up, you cross their name off, and it's so satisfying. Oh my gosh.
Oh, yeah, you're talking to the list. My notebook literally says list maker's gonna list. So Bob Helig verbiage. We're all Bob Helig fans. So I've never watched that video for his A-listers. So that's something I would love to know more about. Any questions so we can let Miss Emily go, because we've had her for about an hour. But if you have a question, now's the time to ask it. Don't hold back. Yellows, pretend you're red for 5 seconds. For the love.
We're going to count to 5 in our heads and let there be silence.
Yeah. No. Hannah, I know you have a question. She told me she was taking tons of notes. And Lindsay Donaldson. Jamie, you always have questions. Where are your questions at? She's laughing like, don't throw me under the bus. Everything you said needed to be said, and
Oh, Jamie, were you raising your hand?
Oh, she does have a question. I told you.
Yeah, I'm a question person. I love answering questions. Okay, so like when you are like reaching out to your A-listers and stuff like that, or the people that you reach out to like about the business, what type of like what do you like? How do you put it, or what do you like? Type of words do you say?
So, just this weekend, I was talking with someone who, because right now I am trying to intentionally recruit people to fast start gold on my reentry, and I have to wait until March 15th to reenter. And so I right now am reaching out to people about the business. And I had this friend of mine who reached out to me about the products. And as I was sitting there talking to her, what I typically like to do is I like to tell people something and just see how they respond. And then I decide based off of how they respond, what I'm going to say next. I read them. So we were sitting and talking, and I was telling her about the products and how I thought they would help her. And I said, you know, it's really been amazing because the business has been so lucrative for our family because the products worked. Have you ever thought about, you know, I'm sure you've seen my posts about all the trips I've been going on and the cars I've earned. Have you ever thought that that would be something that you would want to do? And she said, well, I think if the products worked for me, yeah, I think I would. And I said, well, you know, right now I'm actually looking for someone who wants to run with me. Because in the company, when you reach the top and then you reach a certain level of points, you can re-enroll under yourself. And I'm about to do that. And I need someone to link arms with to meet my goal. And I really think you'd be great at it because you have such great relationships and you are someone that doesn't take no for an answer. And I've really thought how lucrative this could be for you because it does take a special person. And it would be your contacts and my time. And I would be an asset to you so that you would be creating residual income while keeping your quality of life completely the same. And by the end of our conversation, she's ready. I mean, she's waiting to sign up on March 15th when I re-enter. Like, she's ready to go. We've planned a sip and see. We're reaching out to her friends and family already. And she is going to help me fast start gold. Now, how do you do that in a way that's not pushy, right? You have to just kind of like, you have to be the seasick driver. You know, when someone's making you car sick because they're like, gas, gas, gas. When you're planting seeds about the business, just hit the gas a minute and then see what they say and then hit the gas again. And if they still don't give you the way, sometimes you just have to change the way that you're doing it. The book, the 4 color personalities, network marketing color personalities, if you can identify what color they are, it's so much easier to speak to them in their language and talk about the business and talk about the products because you know what motivates them. So I knew very early on that she was motivated by money and that she was red. So I straight up told her what my paycheck was. And immediately when I told her what my paycheck was, that's when the conversation changed. Because she was saying to me, yeah, you know, I think that all sounds really fun. And I said, I know, and I cannot believe that I make X amount of dollars a month. And she was like, what? And I said, I know, it's crazy, girl. And she was like, I think I want to do this. Right? And I mean, reds, they're the easiest ones to convince because all they need to know is the money and they're pretty much in, right?
It's real. If they don't believe you, I can send my pay stub. I have no shame in that.
Yeah, I have no shame with reds because
most of these people here have made at least a $1,000 paycheck at least, so they know.
Right. And I think so many times we think, oh, well, I'm not making diamond pay, so I don't have that much to share. If you are, before Plexus, if somebody would have told me that I could bring in $300 extra a month into my family's income, I would have thought I'd won the lottery. $100 made a big difference. $200 made a big difference. If you are making $250 a month and that's covering the cost of your products, instead of marketing that as I get my products paid for, instead of saying that, what I would start to do for attraction marketing is say, man, my paycheck pays my car payment every month. Market yourself in a way that's relatable to people that have no idea what you're talking about in Plexus.
Yeah, they don't care that you're getting products for free.
Right. I'm getting my products paid for. It's so amazing. That's not relatable to people that don't know how much is that? $30? What are vitamins? $30? Wow, she's making $30. Good for her. Right? But if you're like, it paid my car payment, or, man, I can't even believe that I am bringing in enough money to cover our groceries for a month. My Plexus paycheck pays for I don't care if that's what you're using it for. You need to find a dollar amount that matches something that is relatable to people.
And look at your annual income that you brought in with Plexus. She's not on the call because she's crazy busy right now, but Brandy Lee, she did a post on this. She brought in $10,000 last year with Plexus for the year. And this is her as a gold ambassador, not maintaining gold because her team was all over the place. But as a gold ambassador, 10 G's in 1 year from your cell phone business. So I want you to look at what you made annually last year and the year before, however long you've been here, and maybe show that. I mean, it's tax season. It's the perfect time to talk about something like that. But it's
Mm-hmm. Totally. I mean, that's the thing that I've added to my business testimonial when I talk to people now, because we owe in taxes this year what my husband used to make in a year as a doctor of physical therapy. If that's not financial freedom, I don't know what is. Not that I want to pay all that money.
I know.
It's totally worth it. And 2 years ago, we were living paycheck to paycheck. And we had $75,000 in student loans, $30,000 in credit card debt, and $20,000 in medical bills. And we are completely debt-free.
Yeah.
Completely debt-free.
If y'all don't have the belief right now because you're watching people leave for other companies, because your team's falling apart, because you don't believe in yourself, because you're whatever, borrow ours. I've been here for 4 years. Emily, I don't know what year you joined. What year did you?
I've been here for 2 years.
Okay, she's been here for 2 years. People are still moving forward. She joined after me. Her business and her team members are still ranking up and promoting. But let me tell you something. I don't see them aimlessly scrolling on Facebook. I don't see them watching other people leave. Her team is acting all the time. There's constant action. I'm in her team page, and it's usually crickets. Like, our team page has so much commotion, in my opinion, which I'm not talking about the training topics. I'm just talking about the constant questions and whatnot. To me, that's like business clutter. Her team is constantly doing the behind the scenes work that ours, I firmly believe, used to do. And in no way do I want to like do the whole comparison things, and that's what we're not supposed to be doing. But I want you to see the difference in action versus watching. Stop watching and just get busy. Some of you are actually texting me right now, but you're like, how can I post this? How can you're ready? Like you feel that hunger is, you're being fed right now. Emily, thanks for feeding us. You cook you.
You're so welcome.
But you'll want it so badly, but y'all don't know this. I want it more badly. I don't even know the proper grammar for that, but I want it more than you. I want you to have that Plexus Lexus in your driveway so incredibly bad. Like, I cry over it at night. If you don't believe me, ask my husband, because I get the pain, but this is what blows my mind. Emily joins in the midst of back office changeover, number one. Like, I think we call it back office apocalypse of 2015, when all of us thought like Plexus was shot to shit. This is it. Devin, I think that's when you quit the first time. Like, all of us were like, peace. Like, you know what I mean? Here we are, excuse my French, by the way, but here we are. It's 3 years later. I don't even know what year it is. New mom.
2.5. Yeah, it's been 2.5 years.
And we're going through this again, but don't get me wrong, this new back office is gorgeous and only going to get better. You just re-entered, or you're about to re-enter. Like, do you see where I'm going with this, you guys? And I see, like, all of y'all's eyebrows are like perking up, because I can see that you're just like, oh, you can move forward. You can grow. You can do this. We're going to have divorce. We're going to have sick kids. We're going to have jobs that we hate. We're going to have best friends that quit to do something else. We're going to have husbands that don't support us. We're going to be tired. I mean, the list goes on. But you have to want it more than those things that happen every single day, right? I
think the biggest thing is just to understand, like, you really can do this. Mm-hmm. And you really can just move forward, and you're the only one that can decide to do that. And the difference between myself and someone who is not moving forward right now is that I refuse to let my story be written for me. I'm writing my story, and I have goals. You have goals. You know what they are. Emily doesn't have to tell you what they are. You already know what your heart desires. And I want you to write down what you want tonight. You don't have to show anybody, but I want you to write down what you really, really want. You are on this call sacrificing an hour of your time on a Tuesday night. Some of you have your kids up. You are here because you have goals and you're looking for motivation to go get them. And I give you permission to tomorrow wake up and take that step forward. Start sending the messages. There is nothing that is going to build your business other than just getting down and dirty by reaching out, making new friends. You are not tapped out. I don't care where you live. You are not tapped out, especially if you have Instagram on your phone. And if you don't have Instagram on your phone, guess what? You have a whole new network that you're not tapping into yet. So go add Instagram, go add some girls in the hashtags that you like to follow. The places where I particularly like to make friends are in the hashtag stay little and don't blink, because those are the people that I tend to relate to. I do not go look in the mom life hashtag because I just feel like those aren't people that I relate to. But I tend to go search in the hashtags with fewer people, fewer trending. And I just find people that I genuinely enjoy. And when you expand your network, whether you are helping at your kid's school or you're going to the library or you are finding people on Instagram that you just genuinely, they're adding value to your life and you're adding value to theirs, whatever it might be, you are not tapped out. And you probably have never reached out to the A-listers in your network. I think a lot of times we think our warm market is dried up, and that is such a lie that we are telling ourselves. Because I promise you haven't reached out to your A-listers. Because if you had, you wouldn't be at the rank that you are at. Right? And so learning to change your mindset, people who have money, this is a secret. They want to have more. And you have a really easy way for them to have more, but it's all about how you approach them. So work with Emily. Get yourself into a training, whether it's the Bob Heilig one or something else. Get yourself into a training that will teach you how to do it. It's uncomfortable. It's super scary. Me too. Same thing. I'm like torturing myself right now with IPA and reach out because I really, really want a fast start gold on my reentry. And I know the only way to do it is to message and develop and get outside of my comfort zone. So
and she's
I'm going
an
to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm an extrovert, so it's easier for me, but that doesn't mean that you can't do it. It just means you might have to get outside of your comfort zone even more. So you can do it. Activity, activity, activity. It's the only way out. It's the only way forward.
Yeah.
That's it. So just do it instead of beating yourself up for not doing it.
Absolutely. Well, you are precious, my friend. Thank you so much.